It was simple. You know, I'd spent 4 years making these big movies. The Spider-Man movies were incredibly complex. Really, there's so many things going on, and so many people, and so many fans, and so many obligations and tricks, and it was hard and difficult in so many ways. It was fun in a lot of ways, but it was really complicated. And so I just wanted something simple. She just really understood that role very deep emotionally. And I think she's an incredibly smart kid, well beyond her years. And she has not only an intellectual capacity, but an emotional, she can talk about the emotional undercurrents very easily, which I've never seen anybody. Very rarely can adults communicate that way, but she can. I wish she was here. She's just a brilliant kid. I think the baggage of him as Captain America is actually kind of a good baggage. Like, you know, he's got that strength, but I think what you don't expect is that sensitivity that emerges. Chris is a very warm guy, a very warm spirit. He's very thoughtful, but he is just, he's all man. Like, I grew a pair of ovaries working with him. It was crazy. Chris is so good with her in the scenes. Like, he becomes, like, in a way, a surrogate director, because, like, you don't want to interrupt McKenna's space, though she's incredibly nimble actor. He would just stay with her and try different things, and they would discover the moments together. Like in a romantic comedy, you're not casting actors, you're casting chemistry. And, you know, Chris, we had agreed to do the movie, and then we were auditioning a bunch of kids, and he did, you know, some readings with them, and it was immediate that, like, you know, McKenna and him have a sort of shared sarcastic temperament, and, like, having, like, sarcastic kids are pretty hard to come by. We were looking for a one-eyed cat, which is a weird thing, and they're like, well, you probably shouldn't put a casting notice out for a one-eyed cat, because someone may take out a cat's eye and just think that they could do it. So they're like, we'll just, I was terrified by that idea. So I was like, of course not. So we ended up just doing it both CG, which is like, that's one of the fun things about having done Spider-Man, is like, I know how to do that. Like, that's not that big of a deal anymore. But yes, it was, there were two cats, Bob and Marley, that played Fred. But Gifted feels very different to me than 500 Days of Summer. 500 Days of Summer is about a guy who's holding on to a romantic idea, you know, and in a way, Gifted's very different. It's this guy who's very cynical, who really doesn't believe much in his own capacity to love. I had fun making it. I mean, I think the difficult thing about the Spider-Man movies, where they're made with a kind of urgency, and, you know, you had to, they had to come out at a certain time. You were making it for a release date, and you had a lot of resources to do that, and worked with some of the greatest people in the world at that. But, you know, to do a big movie again, I would like to make it more carefully, you know, and just spend the right amount of time building it up and agonizing over every decision, rather than just like having to go because there's a release date impending.